I'm sure by now you guys must be really tired of me going on and on and on about the phone and why I think it is the most effective communication tool that we have and one of the easiest things at our disposal that we can use to grow our businesses. So, if you're tired of me going on and on about the phone, I have some bad news for you. It's not going to get any easier from this point on because I'm still going to keep preaching the gospel and the message of the phone so long as there are people who prefer reaching out for emails, for SMSs, and DMs as the first point of contact when we're trying to reach out to our brides and grooms and other people that we have to do business with in the wedding and the event industry space. So, phone calls or the phone is the ultimate. But yes, phone calls are scary for lots of reasons that we've gone over lots of times on the podcast in the past. Now, why should you delay reaching for emails and SMS and text-based media? The reason why I preach this gospel is because phone calls have the advantage of speed. I have had this as an experience, and I'm sure a few of you can relate, where I've tried reaching out to a bride because we're getting ready to execute on her wedding, and there are a few things that we need to go over, and she insists that we have to do it over WhatsApp. And so you find yourself WhatsApping over 5 days when if you had had a phone conversation, you could have sorted it out in maybe 5 minutes or less. Now, I am not a proponent of you forcing your clients to pick a media that is convenient for you. So I prefer that you work with whatever it is works best for them. So early on in my career as a wedding photographer, I would try and get as many people as possible on the phone. But now I have a better, I have a better skill of gauging what people find most convenient, most comfortable, and then I go along with that. So if I'm with a bride or a client in another area, that's not wedding related, and I find out that they're cool with the phone, then we do as many things as possible over the phone because we're going to be able to have quick, speedy, conclusive conversations and then move the ball forward. Because if you have this conversation over and done in 5 minutes now, then you guys have made a whole lot more progress than if you are to start the conversation on WhatsApp by Monday and then arrive on all the conclusions by Friday. So, by all means, stick to what it is that your clients are more comfortable with. But ask the question, and if you find people who are comfortable with the phone or maybe with video-based technologies, then by all means hop on the Zoom or pick up the phone and then hash this thing out as quickly as possible so that you can move things from A to B to the next logical conclusion that you need so that you can go on and delight them with that wonderful wedding that you're going to plan for them if you're a wedding planner, and also so that you can get all the information and get all the timing that you need to have all that wonderful production value behind your photographs if you are a wedding photographer. So delay reaching for emails and SMS because the phone is a whole lot faster. And so another reason why I say delay reaching for emails and SMS is because the phone is much more effective at building rapport. Because it's a much more speedier means of communication, and you can get to pick up things like accents and other regional differences. You can build up a whole bunch of rapport, and when you deviate on a phone call, it's not so much as a problem when you deviate over email. If you guys are writing emails back and forth and you establish some commonality that both of you are from Ibadan, for instance, if you go into a detour about gisting about Ibadan in an email, or gisting about Lagos or wherever that both of you are from, or maybe you guys have the same profession or you went to the same school, if you make that detour in an email, it looks more like a waste of time than anything. Email and text-based media, they often beg the question that you should stick straight to the point. But in a phone call, it's not a problem if you say, "Are you serious? Oh, you're from Ibadan. Ah, really? my mom is from Ibadan, this is that, oh, these people, blah, 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 oh, Ijasha people, Egba people, blah, blah, blah. For those of you who are Yoruba, you know how you spin those conversations. So when that happens over on a phone call, it's not a problem. It's not an interruption per se. It's not a delay, and it's not beating around the bush. It's obvious that this is just a detour. So you can detour into that whole Ibadan thing or Lagos thing, or if you guys went to the same school, you both went to OAU or Unilag, you can go and do that OAU and Unilag thing and then come back to the conversation. You've established some rapport and your conversation is still on track. And that's not something that you're going to be able to do effectively if you're relying on emails and SMS. So if you're DMing your bride on Instagram and the whole OAU versus Unilag thing comes up, or the whole Ibadan thing comes up as a point of rapport, the best you can do is like, oh, you went to Ibadan, you grew up in Ibadan, oh, me too. And then you have to quickly move on back to the conversation. You're not going to be able to flesh out any personal details there. So building rapport is a lot easier over the phone. Why else should you delay reaching for emails and SMSs? Is because with phone calls you get vocal nuance, you get nuance in tone and pitch and things like that help you gauge what it is that your potential client is trying to say. So we've all received that email or that text message where the bride said it's okay. And then when you guys met up in person, you realized that it was not okay. But over the phone, if she said it's okay, you would know that it is not really okay. The words that came out of her mouth was that everything is cool, but the tone and the manner and with the hesitance that she said it, you can tell that something else is up. And you as a wedding planner or the wedding photographer will be able to say, oh, okay, in the last conversation we had, this is what I understood. So was I actually wrong? Is that something else that you had in mind? And you guys will be able to sort that out. But if there's hesitation when she's typing out, it's okay. You're not going to be able to pick up on that nuance and figure out that there's a problem. So that is why the phone calls are a much more effective communication tool sometimes than email and the SMS. So that's also another reason to delay reaching for text-based media. And of course, for me, the number one reason why phone calls are the best over email and SMS is you can get prompt feedback. You guys have finished the conversation, you can do the recap and ask for feedback on each particular item. Okay, so we agreed to go for so and so date, right? And the bride says yes. Okay, and we agreed that this is the direction that we're going to go for the shoot, or this is going to be the seating arrangement, and the bride said yes. And we've also agreed that it's going to cost this amount, but because of this and this and this extra idea, we have to budget 150k extra, and the bride is going to say yes. And you can run through your checklist and it's not going to be a problem. Prompt feedback over the phone is not a problem at all. But if you try to do this over email, it's going to look like you're being, what's that word? Is it facetious? Or that you're being a bit of, what's that word? Someone who nitpicks a lot. If you start asking all those individual questions over email, so you email, she emails back, you email, she emails confirmation back, you email, she emails confirmation back. So of course, to get around this problem, what you would do actually is to write a block of text that has all this information in it, and to which you can send one email reply saying that yes, she is good with everything. But we know from experience and from research, not in Nigeria anyway, but in more Western climes, that people don't read the whole email. They're just skimming and scanning through. So if there was any troublesome detail there that was buried in the block of text, or something that she disagrees with, or something that was incorrect, she's not going to be able to point that out. But it's easy to do that over the phone call, because when you are asking for prompt feedback on specific items, it is not a problem at all. So she'll say, oh, yes, we have agreed on the date. Yes, this is the creative direction for the shoot or the seating arrangement. But on that budget thing, please wait, let me get back to you. Let me discuss with my husband, let me discuss with my in-laws, and I will get back to you. So those are the reasons why phone calls are much more, are better than emails and SMS. So thank you very much for listening to the Sales for the Nigerian Wedding Industry podcast. I'm your host, Abuja-based event and wedding photographer Tavishima Ayede. I'll catch you guys at the next recording.